What is up, and welcome back to the channel. We are your Colorado real estate family. All right, so we help people just like you every single day who are moving into Colorado. Well, recently we've noticed a trend. The majority of you don't want to live in the heart of Denver. You want to see what the outskirts look like. In this video, we're going to tell you a few things that we've been noticing why Denver might not be the place.
All right, let's go. All right, if you're new to our channel, Chelsea and Pete here, and if you're interested in moving to Colorado, Denver, or any of the surrounding cities, we're the people that you need to know. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below. We put out a couple videos a week.
Along those lines, also licensed real estate agent here, helping you out with all your real estate needs whenever you relocate into Colorado. Keep it short, sweet, and to the point. All right, cool. So here we go. We're going to dive into this video right now, kind of give you some reasons why we're noticing that people are moving out of Denver. And we're going to kind of give you some stats that you could look up, because I feel like I call it the Google effect, where you could literally Google anything into existence. So you can sit here and Google, why is Colorado such a horrible state and why is everyone moving? Or why is Colorado such a great state and everyone's moving into it? And so I was looking it up, and it was like top states to move into for 2021, 2022. Denver was like number 7 on there. And then in the same thing, I had Googled top states people are moving out of, and one of them was like in the top 10 was Colorado. So it literally, that's why we like to bring our personal experience, kind of what we're seeing and why people want to be on the outskirts of Denver. And it's not necessarily that they're moving out of the state. They might just be moving to other cities that are popular surrounding the Denver metro area.
Yeah, and go ahead and stick around till the end, because at the end we're going to give you our personal experience about why we don't choose the heart of Denver for our family, and also why we're actually still in Colorado. So why didn't we move out? So stick around to the end. You're going to want to hear that directly from us, living here, 5th generation native, can't get it anywhere else, okay? All right, so let's talk about Denver. Why?
Yeah, so I think the biggest reason that we've been noticing why people have been moving out of the heart of Denver is the cost of living. Yeah. It's gone up like crazy. I mean, so like I'd say like 2012, 2013 is when Denver really became popular, and everyone's like, holy crap, I could buy an awesome house out there for cash after selling my house that I'm, in California, East Coast, it doesn't matter. Denver was always this cheap, awesome place to live with all the extracurricular activities that you wanted to do. You got the mountains, you got the lakes, you got all the recreation. And so people are like, why wouldn't I want to live in Denver? And so we had this huge influx of people, so much so that since 2010, Denver's population has gained a little bit over 25%. So it's grown quite a bit, and it's been on a steady increase ever since then. So Denver in itself is still growing, but we have been noticing that people are kind of want to move out of Denver a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of our clients will, maybe they took up a job. So obviously Denver has a lot of great jobs, and so people who move here relocate for jobs.
Yep.
So they'll go there and they're like, oh, I just want to be as close to my job as possible. But what we're seeing is people are actually deciding not to because of the different home prices and what they can get for more bang for their buck. So, I mean, I think the only ones that are surrounding Denver that are higher right now is Golden and kind of Boulder.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're able to find a lot more house. It might be the same price in other cities, but you're going to get a way more house than you will in Denver. And so some of our clients are like, man, do I want to drive the 20 minutes to Denver to go to my job and have this really, like a big square footage house? Or do I want to live in kind of an older Victorian house and be really close to work with all the congestion? So we're starting to see that shift a lot.
Yeah, of course. Well, and so just kind of throw some like random stats. So like I said, I kind of mentioned how back in 2013, 2012, we were a lot cheaper. Now we're looking at 2022, and Denver is the 7th most expensive spot to buy a house, or 7th most expensive metro area to buy a house in the nation. So it's gone up quite a bit as compared to, like I said, probably about like 10 years ago when it really wasn't quite there. Rent's up almost 22% over the last year. And so it's just the cost of living of Denver is going up like crazy. If we're comparing it nationwide, if you haven't caught one of our cost of living videos, I highly recommend go checking it out, because we're really dive into all the specifics on what you're going to be paying to live in the cities. But Denver is 28% higher than your national average.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, Denver used to be a really great place that you could buy a home and then you can rent it out. You can do short-term rentals, things like that. But over the last several years, we're starting to see a lot of restrictions on that. And so it might not be the best place to be able to get an investment anymore, because now you're really limited to kind of the long-term rentals. Now, rent is really high, so if you can get into a house in Denver for an appropriate price, then maybe the rent still offsets and it's still a good situation. However, what we're seeing is you're very locked into a long-term rental. May not be for all the investors like it used to be. We used to see a lot of different like Airbnb Airbnbs, people visiting, but that has really locked down too. So,
and I'm gonna kind of throw, this is kind of a wild hair that we really didn't discuss much over this, but another reason too why people are kind of moving outside of Denver on the outskirts or even some of these outlying areas is, I mean, the light rail. The light rail with it expanding the way it is. People are like, why wouldn't I want to live somewhere where I could get more house, more bang for my buck, and then I could just take the train into downtown Denver, which we see so many of our clients want to do. They're like, all right, cool. I understand you guys keep talking about this light rail situation. What can you find me that has a station where I could just commute down into downtown Denver every single day to go to work?
Yeah. The other thing, and again, we're just like winging this with you guys today. Like, we're just going to be
trying to be as conversational as possible.
Authentic with you guys. So a lot of this we haven't discussed, so bear with us here. But the other thing I was just thinking about was this remote job situation. So, you know, a lot of people used to gear where they lived around where they had to commute for jobs. Now, not all jobs are remote, but we're starting to see even like jobs in Denver where you're only in the office maybe 2 days a week. So we're starting to see people say, well, if I don't have to do it 5 days a week, do I really need to be 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away? Because a lot of the surrounding suburbs that we talk about, if you haven't checked out some of our other videos, we cover anything from Arvada, Westminster, Thornton, like these are all the different areas, Wheat Ridge, Lakewood, you know, all of that surround Denver that people are looking into now because they might only go in 2 days a week. And so they're working from home. So like, well, if I can get more house with maybe, you know, 2 offices for me and my wife, and it's only a 15-minute drive and I only have to do it 2 days a week, why not? So like we're just seeing more flexibility in that whole daily commute, don't you think?
Oh, I think so for sure. And so we're going to go on to the next one. This one's a little touchy, I'm not going to lie. There's been a few of you who have kind of mentioned this a little bit. And we're going to kind of talk about the crime in Denver. It is going up. Colorado, this is, according to a local news station, this is not something to be proud of, but we have some of the highest levels of car theft in the entire country. So that's not something to really kind of, you know, speak about. But at the same time, we want to make sure we're as transparent with you as possible, because the last thing we want is us to paint this pretty picture of Colorado. You come here and be like, what the hell, Colorado real estate family? Why don't you guys tell us about this?
Right. Well, and then, you know, sometimes we're helping families who, you know, are really just kind of looking into all different things in each city and all of that. And so one of the things that has come up recently with our clients is like the homeless population. We've talked a little bit about this in some of our other videos about, you know, do you feel the homeless population? What does that look like for me or my family or my, you know, my roommates or whatever it may be? Obviously, with a bigger city, you're going to see a lot more of that. And so the further away from the city you get, you start to see a little bit less. And that's just, it's just literally, you know, access to things. I think like having access, a lot of our, you know, homeless shelters or homeless resources are located in the city. And so obviously that makes it a little easier for them to get access. And so we start to see that decrease the further away from Denver you get. And so we start to see some families favor that over other places. Yeah, and
I don't want to say that we're sheltered from all that's happening down in Denver, because I mean, us personally, we don't see much of the crime increasing where we're at, and and we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit later in this video, but like violent crimes increased 58% from last year in downtown Denver. And so we see all these things, and then it's driving a lot of people out of Denver. Like, why would I want to put up this when I could go to an outlying city and still kind of use that light rail or whatever to commute down and then get out whenever I'm done with work? So, very cool. All right, so something else we're going to hit on is, this one's another touchy one, is unfortunately the politics. And this is actually personal for us because we've had friends and family. Colorado was always kind of known as a purple state. Well, it's recently gained more and more into the blue section of things, deep blue, and so it's pushed a lot of people out. A lot of locals who were before don't have the same beliefs, and so that's why there's so many states like Florida, Tennessee, and Texas are gaining so much more population. Is there's this split of people where it's like blue, red. It's become so divided. It's horrible that it has to be that way, but from our personal experience, like I said, we've seen it happening. You know, where they're like, you know, I don't like this anymore. I don't like the trends that are happening, so I'm going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is when we're looking at helping clients, it's not, you have to take the whole picture of our client into consideration. You know, what is it that they're looking for in a house? Is this small piece of what their lifestyle and what, you know, how they, you know, fit into their new state and their new home, and that's part of it. And so a lot of our clients will ask about politics and things like that, and we're just really transparent. Like, we don't care one way or another, but it's important to understand which direction the state is leaning or all of that to make sure that you fit in where you are. But we are seeing some people who don't fit in not calling Colorado their home anymore, and that's one of the reasons we're seeing them leave. Okay, so are we to the point where we can give our personal experience?
Yeah, I think so. This is our personal experience. This one's, I guess, the most fluffy of them all. So.
Yeah, so if you've stuck around this long, you're probably saying, gosh, Chelsea and Peter, like, if everyone's moving out of Denver and, the crime is up and, the politics is one way and not the other and it's pushing people out, why are you still here in Colorado? So, okay, yes, we don't live in Denver for a number of reasons. We've covered this a number of times, so if you want to go check out one of the videos where we say, why did we choose this over this, go check it out. But why are we still in Colorado? So, one of the ones for me, being a mom and, having a family, is that we still have really good school systems here in Colorado. And some of the other places that we've looked into, they don't even compare to some of the school ratings that we have here. So, if it meant for us moving out, like not being in the heart of Denver and having access to still some of these really awesome schools and commuting a little bit, it goes back to that same kind of concept of like, I'm okay to commute to get my kid to a good school if it means that I also am in a neighborhood that they can, be safe and belong and have that childhood that we had growing up here,
Of course.
And so schools is a big one that we still have some of the top schools, and I can't really find anything as good or as many options, at least, as we've had here so far.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely the biggest reason that we don't live in the heart of Denver, because we are still considered the Denver metro area, is, I mean, we have a family and we think about that. What kind of environment do we want to raise our kids in? The reason that we love suburbia so much, the outskirts of it, is we have this huge community in the neighborhood that we're in. We're next to open space. I love space. And unfortunately, if you're in downtown Denver, you're not the butt with the house next to you. And so we personally, like I said, we love having that space. We love having the walking trails that are going along the open space. And so it's all majorly driven by the fact that we have a family.
Yeah, and then now that we're getting access to Denver, we've always driven to Denver. It's not a big commute, and so it's just not that big of a deal to be farther away from it. We, have talked about this in other videos, but we, live kind of in the middle of, Denver, Fort Collins, and even not that much further from Boulder. And so we really get to experience all the different things. But the thing that we experience most with our family is being outside, allowing them some freedom, having the parks, having the open space, all of those things that we deal with on a daily basis. We don't go to Denver, Fort Collins, and Boulder every single day. Now, our clients have us there a lot more often, but as a family, we don't. And so it makes sense for us to be in the middle to be able to take advantage of all those things, but not actually have to deal with all the things that come with being in the bigger cities. And
also, I mean, like I said, when we're talking about this video, of course, we're talking about the heart of Denver, because we just helped a client she's on the outskirts. It's called like Central Park. Still considered Denver, but it still has that like kind of suburbia that she's looking for with the great schools and everything. And so you can still find that closer to Denver. And so don't you sit here and think, oh my gosh, Denver's horrible, I'm never going to move there again. But we need to give you the good with the bad with the good, vice versa, and all those good things. I don't know why I did vice versa since whatever. But yeah, like I said, I mean, we like to expose you as much as possible, because on this channel, we're all about being transparent with you as much as possible. That way you're not coming in and you're blindsided by who knows what.
I think that's a good idea to talk about how we had clients who are very happy in Denver and how there are some suburbs. Denver is doing a really good job on the outer skirts of Denver, not in the heart of Denver, which is what we're talking about, but the outer skirts of Denver, really trying to bring in some of those neighborhood. It's like this new neighborhood, right? Where it's this whole big community within a community, or within a city, and they are doing good. Like Stapleton, now, it used to be Stapleton.
Now
I've learned
it's
Central Park now. You can't, Stapleton, it used to still be kind of different. Now they're like interchangeable. They are doing a very good job trying to take those suburbs and what people love about them and try to bring them into the heart of Denver.
You got Green Valley Ranch. You got all these kind of surrounding areas. You got Inglewood, where they're really trying to incorporate more of that suburbia in Denver, because it's just the city life isn't for everyone. For me personally, if I was a single dude just like doing real estate and didn't have a family or anything to worry about, I mean, of course it'd be super cool to live downtown Denver. Who wouldn't want to live down there?
I would not be there if I was a single gal.
But yeah, like I said, just for us personally, we want the open space. We want the access to all the great community activities that we have in the area. So that's why we choose not to live in the heart of Denver.
All right, guys. Well, we do these videos for you. We cover everything from south of Denver all the way to Fort Collins because we want you to stay informed with all the different cities, what each city has to offer, and why Colorado is still our home and why we still choose it to be our home every single day.
And of course, we're going to put that phone number in below, right there. That way, if you're planning on moving to Colorado and you want someone to help you out, we are here to assist you with all your real estate needs. Until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.